Welcome back to the Mike and Andrew Show. I'm Andrew Sorwick here again with Mike Meredith. Mike, it was the opening weekend of baseball. Some pretty exciting stuff, especially if you're a Tigers fan right now, from what we've seen. But very interesting opening weekend. But we're gonna talk some football today. But how you doing this evening, man?
Doing good, yeah. Tigers are one of the last four teams undefeated.
Yeah, who had that on their bingo card? Anyways, we're gonna do something here leading up to the draft. Over the next few weeks here, basically every episode. Um, we're gonna do a top 10 players at every single position group. So we're gonna go today. We're doing quarterbacks, and then we'll see what we'll do Thursday, and then every single episode up to then. But today it's just gonna be this. It's gonna be a pretty short episode, so let's get right into it. This is the top 10 quarterbacks according to Fox Sports. Um, at number 10 here, they have Sam Hartman, Notre Dame. Um, they got him graded out as a fourth or fifth round quarterback here. This is not a very strong quarterback class, to be fair. Um, this year, um, he so Sam Hartman, I think he's a good quarterback. I don't know if he's necessarily going to be an NFL quarterback. Just his play style doesn't really suit the NFL. Really, I mean, he's not a big physical presence, but he's got a hell of an arm on him. So I mean that's what I like from him. He can run too, so um, but he's not as great of a runner as some of the top quarterbacks in this class. But he can run if he absolutely needs to. I don't mind this grade for him. It'll be interesting to see if he even starts in the NFL, but I honestly, don't see him making it or being drafted anywhere before the third round.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah, he's been with Notre Dame for a minute. I don't think he's gonna start. He's definitely gonna be a backup somewhere, but I think he could be a serviceable backup to a bunch of different teams. But yeah, he's gonna be a late round QB.
Yeah, he's not flashy. He's not special. He's on the older side. He's played multiple years. But his when he transferred to Notre Dame, that's really when his career took off in college. So that definitely helped. Moving up to number 9 here, they have Joe Milton from Tennessee. Obviously, I remember Joe Milton as a Michigan fan. The kid has a absolute cannon of an arm. I mean, this guy can throw it fucking 50, 60, 70 yards downfield, and it's usually pretty accurate. His short passing game isn't as accurate. He can run, but he's not necessarily an elite level quarterback because he does make a lot of stupid mistakes. He's a big kid too, 6'5", 235. Um, Obviously, he lost the starting job to Hendon Hooker a couple years ago, and then filled in once Hooker went down at Tennessee. Cade McNamara stole his job at Michigan too. So I mean that kind of tells you where Joe Milton's at. Having player after player steal his starting spot. But he had a decent combine, a decent pro day. And while I don't put really any stock into those, and a lot of people put a lot of stock into those. They have him graded out here as a third to fourth round pick. I could see him probably going in the third round here. I mean, he's got the tools. It's just a matter of refining those tools. But as I've a quote that I heard is potential gets you fired in this league. So, just because you have potential doesn't mean you're going to be anything good.
Yeah, this is someone taking a shot in the dark at him late in the third round or early in the fourth round. He's not going to be starting QB material. He's already lost that starting job a couple times. He's going to be taken with the opportunity that he might he just might, that slight chance that he might break out.
Yeah, it's kind of like a boom or bust situation with him. If he gets a shot, he might show what he's got. Got that he might have what it takes in this league. But honestly, I really don't see it. He could maybe be a good backup in the league, maybe, but yeah, I just don't really see that. Number 8 here, they have Michael Pratt from Tulane. He's 6'2", 216. Um, he he's an interesting quarterback for sure. I mean, I've been high on Tulane for the last few years. They've been a really good program, being a Group of 5 school. Um, he has very good accuracy. Really in the short game and even in the long game, he's got very good accuracy there. He doesn't have all the tools of a top QB, but he's got good football IQ, which is that's a plus for him. But when you don't necessarily have the arm strength or the running speed, um, IQ can only get you so far. But again, look at a guy like Tom Brady, who was all football IQ, and yeah. I like this ranking for him. They got him graded as a third round grade. I see him maybe at the highest going in the third round, but I think probably more of a fourth round pick for this guy. But I think he could be a pretty serviceable QB in the league just because of his ability to read the field and make good decisions with the ball.
Yeah, this is definitely the most consistent guy that we've seen of the three. Like Herman and Melton both up and down. Seems like Pratt was pretty consistent. I think that again he has the ability to be good, but again his talent doesn't stack up to those of the higher end QBs. So again, another team that's probably just gonna take a shot. He probably has less chance to bust than say like a Milton, but Milton probably has the higher ceiling to be crazier. But he's still got a lot of the qualities that they're looking for in these QBs.
Yeah, and he's got like I said, he's got tools available to him. He's not a strong runner. He's a accurate passer and he's very smart with the ball, but he just doesn't have the arm, and he obviously, like I said, he doesn't have the running speed either. Number 7 here, they have Spencer Rattler, South Carolina, 6 foot, 219. Um, man, this kid had a fall from grace. He was so hyped up at Oklahoma, and then he moves to South Carolina, and he's just an absolute bum there for the most part. He's got some good arm talent. He can make some good passes, but he way too often throws off his back foot. Does a lot of like jumping throws, and it's just not necessarily good football plays from him. But he's very accurate. Like I said, it's just those throwing off the back foot, not being able to uh, run uh, or get out of the pocket and set himself to throw like some of these top quarterbacks here. They got him graded out as a third round quarterback. I can see that happening for sure. He's got potential, but potential only gets you so far. You have to really refine him because throwing off your back foot all the time like he was at South Carolina and even at Oklahoma, that ain't gonna cut it in this league and might get you hurt too.
Yeah, he was like the number one player before his time at South Carolina. He was with Oklahoma. He was projected to go number one, then lost his job to Caleb Williams. Went to South Carolina, kind of did all right, but he wasn't really that top 10 prospect talent again. I think that he has probably some of the best skills of anyone we've seen so far. I think that he can be insane if he puts it all together, but is he going to be able to put it all together? That's the question with Spencer Rattler. I think third round's fine.
Up next here at number 6, they have Bo Nix, 6'2", 218 from Oregon. Um, I see him going as a second rounder personally. They have him graded there as well too. Um, the biggest problem I have with Bo Nix is the deeper he throws, the more inaccurate he gets. I mean, he's one of the most accurate passers I think in this class in the short game, but in the long game, he's not accurate at all. He can run though. He throws a very very nice ball. I mean, a very very nice tight spiral. Receivers are gonna love him. I feel like he could go in the first round because I feel like there's a lot of teams that are desperate for a quarterback. But I think if he doesn't and he's available in the second round, you're going to see him go pretty early in that second round, probably around fifth or sixth there. Um, just have a backup somewhere with a team that took one of those wide receivers that already has a quarterback, and maybe he could steal a job. And I think he could definitely steal a job in the NFL, but, um, you know, I mean, he was such a good quarterback at Oregon. It'll be interesting to see if he gets a chance here in the league to see what he does exactly. But yeah, it's just that inaccuracy with the deep ball, and also the fact that he is on the older side in this class as well.
Yeah, there was some mock drafts at the start putting him top 10. So him falling out of the first round, I think a lot of people are going to jump on that, and he'll go in the second round for sure. He's definitely an older QB. He could start, I feel like, for a really low end team or be a really good backup. He's got the potential to be that QB that steps in. We'll see though where he kind of ends up. I don't really have a team that's for sure going to jump out and grab him yet.
Yeah, I don't know who would take him. Um, It'll be interesting to see who does. Um, he's gonna be a solid backup, I think, in this league for sure. Same with this guy, number 5 here, Michael Penix Jr., Washington, 6'3", 212. Um, the biggest concern I think for him is his injury history. I mean, this was the first year in college where he didn't get injured. Um, so obviously that is going to play a huge factor. Hey, Brad Holmes might draft him just because he gets injured so often. Um, but no, I mean, obviously he had an incredible season this year. I mean, him and Bo Nix were just absolutely phenomenal playing against each other, it both in the regular season and in the Pac-12 championship game. Penix, he's a very very good. He's very calm in the pocket, which is very very nice to see. It's a good skill to have. I think they got him as a second round grade. Actually, they said a top 50 grade, so I mean, yeah, that's about a second round pick right there. Um, but the biggest problem that Penix faces, I think, is that when he has to move to throw the ball, his accuracy drops drastically. I mean, you look back to the national title game against Michigan. He was under pressure so much, and he kept missing a lot of passes because he was scrambling out of the pocket. He's not that elite passer that he is when he's standing in the pocket. He's a great pocket passer, and there's a place in the league for pocket passers, but you have to be able to throw on the run. Um, you got to think about like a guys like I mean, this is kind of going back, but Tom Brady and Ben Roethlisberger, right? I mean, they were pocket passers through and through, but they could still, throw on the run if they absolutely needed to. But the problem that Penix faces is the fact that he just cannot throw on the run very accurately at all. He's got a lot of tools, but again, I think his biggest concerns are the injuries for one, and just his inability to throw on the run accurately.
Yeah, he's another older QB in this class. He's been around a while. Yeah, he's definitely had the injury bug. I mean, he was what, a 6 year senior, 5 or 6 year senior.
Yeah, I believe a 6 year senior.
Yeah, so he's definitely been around and has eligibility for a while. That's usually the case for people injured, being able to have an excuse to get another year of eligibility. I think though his deep ball is insane. He can throw the ball, he can sling it down, but yeah, just uh, being able to be mobile and throw the ball, not his strongest. He definitely can scramble a little bit, but again, he's another one that it's so tough to tell because he so flashes up. He could be this insane QB, this like sort of Michael Vick type, like not as fast Michael Vick, but could throw the ball like 60 yards type player. But then also you see him in the championship game against Michigan. He was all right, but he had some bad moments as well.
Yeah, he had some very bad moments, and again, a lot of those came when he was running and throwing the ball. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what he does, but yeah, just I don't know if he's gonna make it in the league. Speaking of another guy that I don't think is going to really necessarily make it in the league, but he's just getting hyped up and hyped up more and more every single day, it seems they have here. Number 4, J.J. McCarthy from Michigan. The youngest QB in this class, which is very, very appealing to NFL scouts and GMs. He's 6'3", 202. J.J., obviously, very, very young. So that definitely helps. He has shown a lot of potential to be an NFL starting quarterback. He has a very, very high ceiling, I think, but he also has a very, very, very low floor, and that's not going to lend him many favors either. Because you see, like, you'll see him make throws that are NFL type of throws when he's on the run, or even when he's in the pocket, he's making NFL kind of throws. But the biggest problem is that he didn't have a lot of reps. There's not a lot of film to look at on JJ, and I think that's where I'm more concerned about people, hyping him up so much, is the fact that you don't have a lot to go off of him. I mean, he didn't throw it a whole lot, and now granted, that's not his fault. That is obviously what happens when you're in a smash mouth offense. But when he made throws, he made very, very good throws, and he is tough as hell too. He runs forward. He doesn't slide. He takes big hits. He doesn't care. He is tough as hell, and that's a huge, huge boost to him. He can get a little reckless at times with where he throws, but for the most part, he's a very accurate passer. He can throw the deep ball. He can throw the short ball very accurately. But like I said, it's just a matter of we don't have a lot to go off on him. The potential's definitely there. It's just we don't know if he can hit that potential or not.
Yeah, with JJ, it's so tough because I want to root for him. I'm a Michigan fan. Well, I like State more, but I do like Michigan a lot as well, and I want him to be able to do good. But these recent mock drafts have him going like number 4, like have him going with the other 3 QBs, and I don't know what they're seeing on JJ. It's so impressive. I get they had, you know, they said these interviews. He has the ability to make NFL throws, but he also comes with a lot of big risk as well. So I think that JJ, I would have said like late first round, but him going potentially top 5 is crazy.
Yeah, I don't understand how he's going to be going top five. I really don't. He's a good quarterback, don't get me wrong. And I think a lot of the appeal from these teams is just the fact that he just turned 21 earlier this year. So I mean, he's very young. He's I mean, like I said, the youngest in this class in terms of quarterbacks at least. So I mean, he's definitely got potential, and he's made NFL throws, but he also has made a lot of stupid throws. But it'll be interesting to see where he goes. I saw one mock take with the Giants taking him, and I thought, well, if the Giants take him at, I think, what are they, number five, if I'm not mistaken, um,
Yeah, but
he's probably gonna get the starting job after like week two because Daniel Jones is absolute dog shit. Um, but
yeah.
we'll have to see. Number three here, they have Jaden Daniels from LSU. He's 6'4", 210. The kid is fucking phenomenal. Um, he's wicked fast when he runs. He's got a really good arm. Um, it's just his biggest, I think, the concern I would have for Jaden Daniels is the fact that when he threw the deep ball, they were pretty much all on vertical routes. They weren't any deep posts, any sort of timing routes that he threw. And that's sort of an issue, especially in the NFL, because a lot of the deep balls are from crossing routes. Um, so it's a matter of does he have the accuracy with the deep ball, um, in terms of a receiver cutting across the field 40, 50 yards downfield. Does he have that ability? He definitely has the arm to make that throw. It's just, does he have that accuracy um, from him? He's very durable too. He's very tough, and I like that about quarterbacks. And the way he runs, man, it's like he's not even running. It's more like he's gliding on the field. It's just how crazy that is. He's wicked fast. I think, yeah. Whoever gets him in the top three, they're gonna end up really really happy with him.
Yeah, I think that he's great. Personally, prefer Drake and May. I know that they've kind of been swapped at 2 and 3. Take your pick who you prefer more, but Jaden Daniels, I think, is a really great talent that came onto the scene, kind of out of, I wouldn't say out of nowhere, but he definitely came out and he won the Heisman. He's got crazy raw talent. I think that he could be a great fit for being that next QB, just trying to find who's going to be that next guy. And I think that his potential is crazy if they get him in the right situation.
Yeah, I mean Daniels is gonna be um, one of those quarterbacks that's boom or bust, and I wouldn't even necessarily say bust. I think he, at the very least, will be kind of like like a Kirk Cousins, I guess, in terms of just being a serviceable NFL starter, not necessarily being that elite level, winning multiple championships like a Mahomes or a Brady or whatever. But I think he could definitely be up there as well in that realm of being as good as Mahomes, because he does have all that potential and all that talent to work with. Number two here, they have Drake May from North Carolina, 6'4", 230. You and I have talked about him a lot. We really do like this guy. He's got incredible arm talent. He's tough. He played on a North Carolina team that had really no talent at all, and he still put up some decent numbers. Although he's 24-9 for touchdown to interception ratio this year, so not the greatest, but I feel like he could have had a lot more touchdowns this year if he had a offensive line that could actually block for him. That'd be fantastic, but No, but he can run. He's not as fast as a Jaden Daniels or a JJ McCarthy even, but he can run. He's very good on the run too when he throws the ball. I like Drake May. Yeah, no, I like Drake May a ton. I honestly, if Caleb Williams wasn't in this draft, I would think he would be the top quarterback on my list here, just because he is that good, and he's very good under pressure too. But every once in a while, you'll try to see him play some hero ball. That's a little bit concerning, but outside of that, um, you know, if they can just get him to not try and play some hero ball when under pressure and just take the sack when needed, I think he could be an elite level QB. And I'm pretty sure if he does go number two, he's gonna lead Washington to a ton of success in the future.
Yeah, I think that Drake May has a lot of potential here to lead Washington. Again, playing for North Carolina is tough because it doesn't really have crazy good team around him. I guess that's a good thing because he's not going to be carried off of his team basically, like a lot of players in college that go into the pros. They're kind of carried by their team. I think Drake May has a lot of great talent that he can bring to Washington. Sam Howell didn't work out there, so maybe now Drake May is the answer. And we'll see if Washington can actually build around him, get him some protection up front, because yeah, they're gonna need it.
Yeah, that's gonna be the big key for Washington if they do end up selecting Drake May, or even Jaden Daniels for that matter. But they're gonna need to insulate him with some offensive line picks, and also try and get some more offensive line in free agency, because that's gonna definitely affect his performance. And we saw it with Sam Howell this year. I mean, that offensive line was so bad. He was under pressure every single fucking play, or at least every single drop back, I should say. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where Drake May goes. I mean, I've seen him and Jaden Daniels flip flop at 2 and 3, all over the place. I personally would take him over Jaden Daniels any day, though. And then lastly, number one here, Caleb Williams. He's 6'1", 215. The dude is really, really good. Incredibly accurate. I mean, I haven't seen a passer this accurate in a very, very long time. He's he's a former Heisman Trophy winner. He is a dual threat. He can run. He can pass on the run. He can just throw. He can just sit back in the pocket and launch cannon after cannon after cannon. He's just so incredibly talented. And Chicago's gonna really like him. Although I don't think he's really gonna like Chicago at all. But we'll see there. There's one concern about Caleb Williams' game. It's the same thing that Drake May has, and that's just that he plays hero ball so much. He's very quick to go off script. Lincoln Riley even mentioned this before, that he does go off script very quickly sometimes, and tries to play some hero ball. Again, you can refine that, but I don't. Given the Bears' track record with quarterbacks, are they gonna really be able to refine that sort of talent? We'll have to wait and see. But no, I mean, he's just so good. He's just incredibly good. One of the best QB prospects that we've seen in a very, very long time. He can do everything. I wouldn't necessarily comp him to Mahomes, but I think he has that Mahomes potential in him.
Yeah, it's probably the best QB since Trevor Lawrence came out of Clemson, just prospect wise. Caleb Williams is pretty good. I mean, Chicago's I mean, they got their guy. They got rid of Justin Fields for a bag of chips, and they they're rolling with Caleb Williams. So that's who they're gonna be moving forward. And Chicago has really never had a good QB in their entire franchise history. They've never had that real big star QB. So I think that Caleb Williams has a lot of pressure to be that for Chicago, and I'm not sure how he's going to handle it. I feel like he definitely is someone who, you know, maybe not drama filled, but definitely has an opinion. He's not very, uh, you know, he is very outspoken, I should say. He's going to be in that Chicago spotlight, and we'll see what the Bears can do. I mean, they're doing a good job trying to build some core. They got Keenan Allen in a trade. I think they're going to do better at building their offensive lineup. They've drafted offensive linemen in the past couple drafts. I think that they are going to try and build this future for Caleb Williams.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do for sure. I mean, obviously, they've the Bears in the past when they've drafted QBs have missed on them completely. I mean, they took Mitch Trubisky all those years ago, and that was I forget who that was over.
Mahomes.
Yeah. They took Trubisky over Mahomes, so we see how well that worked out for them. Um, and Justin Fields, although I think that was more a lack of being able to develop Justin Fields than it was just Justin Fields was dog ass or whatever. Um, I feel like Fields definitely has some potential still in the NFL, but it's going to be very hard to mess up this pick. I think. I mean, it's pretty obvious to pick Caleb Williams, but no, I mean Caleb has been outspoken saying that he doesn't want to play for Chicago. So I mean, could we see Chicago say, "Nah, we'll take Drake May instead because we don't want to take a guy who doesn't want to be here"? We don't know, but I think if you're Chicago, you have to take him. I mean, he's just so good. So yeah. But anyways, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for us. A quicker episode here. Thursday, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna talk about what position group we want to do. We don't know which one we're gonna do next. Probably either receiver or running back. Um, and then yeah, we'll just keep doing this. NFL or not NFL, NHL and NBA playoffs are just about 2 weeks away each, if I'm not mistaken. I know the NHL we're about 2.5 weeks left from the playoffs. But pretty much everyone there in the NHL has less than 10 games to go. So anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for listening. Rate, review, subscribe, help us out. Let us know what you want to see. Keep sharing the podcast, guys. We can keep growing this thing. Yeah, thank you guys again so much for listening, and we will see you guys on Thursday.